Welcome to the Life Lnxx Podcast, a platform to amplify Latina voices, to validate their story, and engage the comunidad worldwide. I'm your host, Consuelo Crosby, and also creator of this content. If you would like to chat about what you've heard here today, then reach out to me through our website at thelnx.com. That's LNXX, or through our Instagram profile at Life Lnxx. I'd love to listen and engage in whatever you have to say. Hola, chicas. Welcome to another episode of the Life Lnxx Podcast, and welcome to the last month of the year. Woof, 2022 is nearing its end. And I don't know about you, but for me, I am gratefully punting this one. I'm done. Which may explain a lot of the radio silence from our typical Wednesday drop last week. So if you didn't miss me, well, I'm not going to take that to heart. But if you did, thank you. Thank you for realizing that the new episode was not there on December 7th. It would be in keeping with what my mother always said about December 7th being Pearl Harbor Day and therefore bad luck, and do everything on December 8th because that was the Immaculate Conception. Well, I started pushing it towards December 12th for Our Lady of Guadalupe. And finally on the 13th, which is also a bad luck day. And just prior to tomorrow, I put this episode out. Now we'll get into more of why that happened later in this episode. This is a pod club episode, meaning that we are reflecting back on what we heard on the previous episode with Rosa de Revuelta. But we're doing a little straddle this episode. Yes, we are reflecting back because it's very powerfully framing what we are discussing today. We're going to divide this episode a little bit by taking what Rosa taught us. And for the first time, let's choose ourselves. We are banking on that. And we are also engaging in this season of giving. So when you combine those two considerations, choosing ourselves first, season of giving, bam. Let's choose ourselves first in giving to ourselves. And what better way to both give to ourselves and maintain a season of gratitude than by highlighting our fabulous guests that we've had this season. Amazing Latina founders, entrepreneurs, and career professionals that we have learned so much from their life experiences and the mindset that gave them and what they did with it ultimately. Sharing it both in the episode and in their actual businesses. That's what's coming your way this episode. So let me take some time real quickly to just lay out what's happening the rest of December, so you have some real expectations of what we have for you. Our next episode, dropping on December 14th, is with Brenda Amiel. Now, Brenda, wow, she is going to share her story and how she quit her 9-to-5, became a master certified NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy coach. Her High Vibes Consulting company is exactly what we need to listen to at the end of the year so that we can get ourselves squared away and in a perfect mindset for 2023. She will describe how it is that we get stuck and we don't even know it. We are stuck thinking we cannot. And through her High Vibes Consulting, you will learn to understand. So look forward to that one on the 14th. And then the one after that, the 21st, is going to be our holiday one. So on our holiday one, I want to share a personal story. When I was a little girl, and we were so fortunate. There was a woman from Mexico who was my mother's really good friend. And every Christmas, I would look forward to the way she celebrated La Posada. So on the episode of December 21st, we're going to talk about La Posada And Rosa is going to have some more advice and some more information about ponche. Because for all the times that I celebrated La Posada, I guess I was too little to have ponche. Or at least the ponche that was being served then. So look forward to those episodes in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll go on the break for the last week of December and the first week of January, like we typically do. But this time, I have an extra gift coming our way to our family, but most especially my daughter and her husband. They're expecting their first child. I'm going to tear up. You know I tear up easily. And my first grandchild. Yes, I am becoming an abuelita as the year turns. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I have been hush-hush, but now I must share. So you have that to look forward to once we come back in the new year after our 2-week break. I hope I hear you squealing. Give me a little, Okay, but you don't need to send me any abuela clothing or hairstyle tips or nothing of that. I'm not there yet. Maybe when she's a teenager. And I say she, but I don't know, except I had a premonition that it's a little girl. I had a premonition of a dream with my parents who have both passed. And this little baby girl, oh my goodness, so cute, with a little pink dress with white lace. I don't know. Maybe that was just me. So diving in today, let's reflect back. Let's do our Pod Club episode. And thinking about Rosa Revuelta on episode 68, where she taught us ultimately to choose ourselves first. It was a really powerful discussion that came about totally organically. And that's what I love about this podcast. If you haven't noticed, it's not necessarily a Q&A session. Here's what you're going to learn. Here are the questions. Here are the answers. Go memorize that and regurgitate. No, absolutely not. You never really know what's coming out of these episodes. And yet every single time, and it speaks to the intelligence and the vivacity of these women, every single time a jewel spontaneously comes to surface. And suddenly, the episode has completely shifted of where we thought it was going to go. And so, where I had an idea already planned and already recorded for December 7th's episode, I totally scratched it. In that same organic, fluid sense of just living life in the moment, I scratched it. Yes, it was going to be about December. And yes, it was going to be about the gifts because we are entering that holiday season. But it wasn't going to be about gifting for ourselves. That statement hung so heavily in my mind because it had never occurred to me. Much like Rosa said, it never occurred to me to put myself first. And I had to really sit in that and consider why I hadn't and what it would feel like. What would it feel like if I put myself first and did only what I wanted to do without considering impact on anybody else, how it would affect anyone else, how they would feel about it? Was it okay with them? Nada. So I said, what would that feel like? What if I didn't put out an episode on the day we typically do? What if I didn't put out the holiday version I expected to? I was getting heavy into this thought. What would really happen if I chose myself first? So as I let the release date go, December 7th, and as I let scheduling anything else into the week go, no articles, no social media, I really took the jump on the weekend. By Friday night, I was like, you know what? What if I just stay in bed on the weekend? Now, I know you're laughing at me right now. You're thinking, what's the big deal, Consuelo? We always do that. Not me. I have that little hamster wheel turning brain that just is go, 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 go. And it's so curious and it wants to do anything and everything it thinks of that it can't stay still. Never has. I never slept in as a kid. I never slept in as a teenager. I didn't even sleep in after a hangover. I just always wanted to get up and start the day and be grateful I had one. So this took some mind-numbing, repetitive thinking of I am going to stay in bed and it is going to be fine. Everyone will be fine. The world won't come to an end, right? And it didn't. And I literally stayed in bed all day Saturday, getting up to make my latte, decaf, getting up for my food, and just relaxing and binge watching because I had to catch up on my Netflix. I wanted to catch up on Wednesday and Glorify and all that hype. I wanted to catch up on Meghan and Harry. I wanted to catch up on The Crown. Talk about bookends there. And in between all that, I just kept falling asleep and realized that, oh my Lord, I was so physically exhausted that I didn't even realize it. I think at some point it was just all pure adrenaline. And I realized subconsciously in my mind, the reason that I never stopped, the reason I never just said, no, I'm going to just stay in bed all day, I was afraid what would happen for myself. Like I would literally find out how tired I was. And if the body was shown how tired it was and the mind went, oh God, we're exhausted, I didn't know what it was going to tell me to do. It's that Pandora's box. The only lifestyle I'd ever lived was just that curious vivacity. And if I stopped, would I start again? Well, I have to tell you, this is an ongoing experiment because I did sleep the entire weekend, didn't leave the house except for a beautiful walk Sunday morning. I don't know if I can come back to that mode anytime soon. So it just feeds right into the end of the year as we are slowing down, as we are wrapping things up. Now, anyone in retail, I apologize. This is absolutely the worst time of year for you, the most craziest time for you. But I think it's a beautiful 1-2 punch for us. With Rosa telling us, choose ourselves first. And then Brenda next week saying, as long as you're choosing yourself first, let's really dig in and break through what's holding you back. Because I think it really takes this clear mind, this rested and peaceful mind of saying, no, I come first, and I'm going to figure out what I want. And with that mindset moving right into Brenda's expertise and her certified training to take that liberated mind and say, okay, what do you want? Because she knows how to get you there. That right there is the biggest gift. I can't say I wish I had this earlier in my life because I don't think it existed. Sometimes we can't say that. What did you wish you learned earlier? It may not have even existed earlier in your life. But learning this now, knowing it's available to you, all our listeners, is insanely valuable and the biggest gift you can give yourself as we close out 2022 and prep for a new year. Prep for a new you. So in this season of giving, consider gifting something to yourself from one of our guests of season 3. We have had such amazing women. I am so blessed and so grateful for the women who have come on the podcast this season, the second half of the year, and really, really shook things up. And like Sandy said in our episode with Two Peacocks Travel, money, commerce within the Latino community touches 7 times before it leaves the community. 7 times. That's amazing. So when we're gifting ourselves in this moment, I really want you to think about what might really resonate with you. Having these amazing founders, entrepreneurs, and career women offering their products and services, we can at least be number 2, right? We're the second touch. And if you're gifting it to yourself and someone else, that's a third touch. And they learn from these business owners, and it goes so on and so on and so on. It's powerful. It's part of that generational wealth and increased economy within the Latino community that is just blowing up and on fire. So let's fuel that. Now, if you need some ideas, or if you don't want to go back and listen to all the episodes all over again to find what gifts to give yourself, I have an article on the website. It's called Choose Yourself First this giving season. And it's a quick synopsis of all our guests we've had on season 3 and what they offer as a business or as a career professional so that you can easily choose what's resonating for you right now. And each of the women and their product or services are all linked. So they'll be linked to the episode they were on in case you want to go back and listen to them again, get a feel of who they are. And it's also linked directly to their website. So if you're like, yes, I want a puzzle subscription box, bam, you're right there on the website. Purchase, done. This is going to send you down the rabbit hole, but so good. You're a small business that wants to elevate and make that next leap in 2023? Bam! Linda Gonzalez. She'll take you there. We have multitudes to choose from, and we are so grateful for their intelligence and their determination to make it available to all of us. In addition to that article, as you know, we have our cafecito shout-outs. Again, Latino small business oriented. There's another touch. I think we're on 4 now, 4 or 5. There's a link there that will take you to another article listing all the cafecito places that our guests love and would love for you to also take some time and visit if you're in the area. They could be anywhere from LA, Inland Empire, New York, Miami. They're all over the place. There's even one in Puerto Rico. There's one in Spain. Keep them coming. We'll have the link for the article in our show notes, so you can see that in the podcast show notes that are finally there. And it will take you directly to the article, and you could start choosing what you want. Let's leave it within the Latino community. But truly, for as much as this month is exciting and we get out all our cozy blankets and the fireplace is going, we have our holiday shows on, we have our cafecitos, it is still a great time to pause. Literally do nothing except what feels good for ourselves and begin winding down, closing out this year and letting go of any struggles, any pain, any difficulties that you might have had this year, because it was still a tricky one. And really open yourself and your mind and your heart to the possibility of goodness coming your way in 2023. Thank you for giving me a week off, even though you didn't know it. Thank you for tuning in again on our regular Wednesday drops and picking up where we left off. I have never felt this liberated, and I don't know where this is going, but I hope you're going to stay with me and find out where. You'll want to tune in tomorrow for our episode 70 with Brenda Amiel. Brenda was a thriving project management career as a young adult, and she looked like she had made it. But her romantic relationship cycled through the familiar pattern of volatility, instability, and people-pleasing, eventually leading to Brenda having a traumatic ectopic pregnancy and herpes. Something had to change, and that's when she discovered NLP and hypnosis. Within a year, she quit her 9-to-5, became a master certified NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy coach, an international trainer, and now solo travels the world in her most important vibrant, loving relationship, the one with herself. Did I not say this was a marriage? A 1-2 punch for us? Remember to share this podcast with your friends. Let's share this knowledge. Let's share these stories and create the narrative that is ours in our own words, in our own time. I really appreciate you downloading the podcast so that you don't miss any of these episodes. Even when they're not there, they will catch up to you. Always appreciate you listening. Always appreciate you contributing. Step into your truth, ladies. Ciao. Really appreciate the time you take to rate and review the podcast. Get the backstory and what you've heard here today and reach out to us at thelnx.com. That's LNXX. Because it's about time, it's about us. Stay in the groove on our social media at Life Lnxx and get ready to make your move, ladies. Viva!